GCMMA boys coming to you this week with our live reaction. Guys, this is a rare occurrence from GCMMA. You got daylight in the video. We told you guys for this card, we were not messing around. Guys, this has to have been the best card of the entire year. We're going to get through every single fight, but I would honestly give this card a 9 out of 10 after seeing the main event. Like, let's just let that be known, boys. Yes, there was some bullshit that we're going to get to in this video that happened on this card, but this is still hands down best card of the entire year.
100%. I think the only other card that could contend with this is the Ferreira versus Prohaska card, the rematch. But this card, this card just has a few fights that just made this shit so entertaining, and I'm really glad that the UFC put this on. But there's the Abu Dhabi, we cannot go to Abu Dhabi again. Like, this is getting fucked. That brings us into the first fight.
Renat Fakhridinov.
Guys, we literally bet on Renat, so we wanted him to win. He should have not won that fight.
When this guy says 30-27, he goes, "Oh, it's Leo. He goes, Renat, and we're like, we literally have money on this guy, and we're getting pissed off because of how corrupt this is. And this guy did not, bro. I do not give a shit. Nobody can make a case for the fact that Renat Fakhridinov won that fight. That was a absolute robbery.
And of course, the judge who gives out 30-27,
Muhammad Ali Shah or some shit like
Muhammad Ali Shabi Wasabi, fucking Tumbabi or some shit. That guy's a fucking idiot. Somebody needs to investigate the UFC.
Listen,
I've
boys,
been saying this shit for weeks.
As much as we can get on that judge, it was unanimous. Every fucking judge thought he won that fight. Guys, I mean, like I said, we picked the guy to win. He won, but I really don't give a damn about that. That's just absolutely ridiculous. If that was in the Apex, it would have went the other way. Next fight was Bruno Silva
versus Ismail Nordiev.
Bruno Silva sucks, guys.
Like we fucking said.
He's lost 5 of his last 6 fights. He's standing there with his fucking hand up like he didn't just get his ass kicked for 15 minutes.
Dude, I just don't understand that. Just accept that you just got your ass kicked. Don't try to raise your hand and act like you won the fight.
Because the judges don't give a shit about that.
Yeah, you literally just got your ass handed to you for 3 rounds. You're lucky to even be awake at this point.
Bruno Silva, boys, they've got to cut him at this point. This fight, sure, it wasn't even that bad. This is the next performance after getting your ass kicked by Chris Weidman. There's nothing left for Bruno Silva inside of the UFC, guys. I'm sorry. He had his fucking time. He had a couple wins. He's lost 5 of his last 6 fights. Get the guy out of the promotion.
Yeah, I'm tired of just seeing this guy come into a fight and just fighting like a pussy, to be honest. He's not giving it his all. You can't watch any of his last 2 fights and tell me he was giving
this
his
guy's
all.
UFC material. Come on, give him a shot.
Yeah,
come on, boys.
He just wants paychecks, and I don't want to see that anymore in the UFC. But next up on the card, we had Farid Bozrot versus Victor Hugo. And
boys, there are a couple of you commenting on this short talking about I'm going Victor Hugo. Look, we're not gonna go on you guys too hard. This was a fight when you have, and this brings me into another fight we had when there's a -700 or 800 guy, because you pick the underdog. It's not the end of the world. If you're oh well, Farid or Javid, whichever Bozrot if he even fought today, I can't even remember. Whichever one of them fought today. If you're going the underdog, it's whatever, you're taking, that's a real chance that you're taking on that. So
yeah, I don't really blame anybody for picking Victor Hugo because the odds were way too wide when Farid Bozrot was -700, -800. It was a decently close fight. It definitely wasn't a -700 performance, I will say that, but I just knew for Bozrot was gonna get the job done, especially with the support of the Abu Dhabi judges. So yeah, I wasn't too worried there, boys. For Bozrot, easy dub there. Next up on the card, we got a pretty
This was stupid, guys.
This was just
Come
dumb.
on.
And I know people were already getting on us for this pick. We straight up said we don't fuck with Kennedy and Jequ.
If you're gonna get on us because we were just picking the underdog in a -800 fight for fun, really? Oh well, what happened? Kennedy and Jequ would knock you out. Are you fucking kidding me, boys?
Dude, we don't.
All we wanted to do was see Chris Barnett win.
Yeah,
and that's a crime.
Yeah, and this,
come on.
And this fat motherfucker, Chris Barnett, I love you, bro, but you fucking injured yourself because you're fat as hell. You jumped up in the octagon, and your fat ass body.
Those knees cannot take that type of movement, bro.
Yeah,
you probably got maybe 50 pounds below your waist and 210 on the waist up. So you're expecting your knees to be able to jump up, land, and hold that big ass belly of yours, bro.
That's like expecting somebody to catch a wrecking ball and be straight after that.
Bro, Chris Barnett, guys, it's sad, yes, because we fucked with him. He did some crazy stuff. But guys, our record on this card was 8-5. Which was 61%. It wasn't the best, but guys, we would have been 7-4 if we don't count this fight. Because realistically, boys, yes, Kennedy and Jequ was always gonna win this. We were literally just picking Chris Barnett for fun in the hopes that he would do it, boys.
The hopes his fat ass would do a tornado roundhouse.
And by the way, we also predicted this early in the week before we even saw how big Chris Barnett was. We're just not the type of guys that take back a bet on something like that. Did we bet money on him? No, but we did pick him, and I'm not gonna try to change who we're picking on something. That's just stupid. But Chris Barnett probably done in the UFC. Kennedy and Jequ literally just got a layup, and I don't know, bro. Yeah, you finish Chris Barnett, who's on one leg, but you lose the decision to OSP. Fuck that guy still, bro. This did not change a damn thing.
Yeah, 100%. But moving on, we got one of the saddest parts of the card. Bruno Ferreira got submitted by Abus Magomedov. And guys, the thing about this shit that pisses me off is that first round, they're both at distance.
The first round was stupid.
Abus Magomedov barely wins the round just because he landed more shit when both of them weren't doing anything. And I was like, damn. But I thought Bruno Ferreira, was trying to maintain his gas tank. Going into the second round, Bruno Ferreira 100% won that round. Knocked him down twice, was close to finishing the fight there, and then he just got taken down and held down. And I had a decision to make. I had $1,000 on Bruno Ferreira and Miktek Orbl in a parlay. And I had to make a decision. I was like, I went straight to the sports book, looked at the cash out, and
after the second round,
and I saw that I could cash out and get that entire $1,000 back, and I fucking cashed out. And the very next round, Bruno Ferreira got submitted and choked out. I was so happy that I made the right decision, boys, because I couldn't. After Renat fucking won that fight, I knew the Abu Dhabi judges didn't care what happens. They're picking their guy, and you just got to deal with it. So I just had to cash out in that moment and then got my money back, boys.
Guys, Bruno Ferreira is a lock against whoever he fights next. I think he still would have beaten Abus Magomedov's ass if it was on the feet. They were both tired, and I'm not taking anything away from Abus Magomedov. He won this fight fair and square. As much as I don't like him, as much stuff as we said about him beforehand, guys, we can't deny the fact he wore on Bruno Ferreira. He got him to the point where he couldn't defend a takedown, and it's not like he won a decision. He did submit him, so I did gain a little bit of respect for him. But it's boys, Bruno Ferreira, he's going to get a step down in competition for his next fight. Whoever he fights next is going out. Because fucking Abus was about to get knocked out. He literally got up, got tagged, looked at the clock, and immediately shot back in, and that's when he finished Bruno Ferreira. So it's like, guys, I don't want to say too much about Abus. Like I said, congrats to him. I don't want to be too salty when we lose some of these fights, boys. But that takes us to the very next one. Miktek Orbl versus Mateusz Rebecky.
Fuck.
Guys, this has to be the best fight I've ever fucking seen. How many people in the UFC do you know that would get their ass kicked as bad as Miktek Orbl did and still get up, reverse position, take him down, and start punching him? Guys, I did not think Mateusz Rebecky won that fight. And let's just make that clear. But with decisions aside, we can still 100% appreciate the fact that this fight happened the way it did. This was back and forth. These guys both absolutely showed their hearts out. There's a lot of people inside of the UFC who would not like that. Bro, that is the deepest waters you can get into as a fighter. And both of those guys stuck in that shit and kept going, boys.
That shit is literally like deepest waters. You know this shit in SpongeBob where they're like in the bottom of the ocean and it's like the fucked up town? Like that's where those motherfuckers were at in those final moments of the fight. That was so ridiculous. I was literally standing up shaking in disbelief because I've never seen some shit like that. Like Orbl was literally dropped and 18 unanswered powerful strikes to the head, stood up and it was still like in there, and they were running that until the very end of the clock. Like shout out to both of those guys. Like,
and that's the shit that makes us fuck with the UFC. Mario Bautista is not down to get down like that, boys.
Marab doesn't do shit like that. Pantoja doesn't do shit like that. Bilal Muhammad isn't about that. Like, there's a lot of people who are at the champions and who are at the top of the division. They don't have that type of like dog in them like those two motherfuckers do. They went to war. They would literally rather die than lose the fight. Like that's literally what they were running in that shit.
And I know it wasn't the most high profile fight, but guys, I would be down to see the rematch between those
100%.
two. Like, guys, that was absolutely insane, boys. Hats off to both of them. Like I said, boys, I don't think Mateusz Rebecky won, but I'm gonna give him like his props. Like the judges thought he won. I'm not mad that he won. Like that was a good fucking fight. I want to see both of these guys carry that same energy into their next fight. Hopefully they didn't like just compromise their chin entirely. But
dude,
yeah, boys.
Fucking Rebecky's chin is underrated as fuck if you really think about it, because he for real got his ass kicked just a few months ago by Diego Ferreira, and then he's coming back and getting into a fucking war with Miktek Orbl out of all people, and they're going to war, and his chin like it fucking stood on business. Like he ran it. I will say that. Like Mateusz Rebecky, we definitely were counting on him more than we should have been on. Like he has a dog in him that I didn't think he had.
I didn't think he had that shit either. Yeah. That's the thing, guys. When we're wrong about some of these fights, we're gonna give our props. If you're someone who's just like wrong about a prediction and you're just like super salty about it for no reason, like that's not cool. Like we did not respect Rebecky going into this fight as much as he should have been respected, and now he just showed us he won the fight according to the judges. Even if he didn't win the fight, I would still have respected him because of what he did today, guys.
Anybody who, like, literally anybody who can beat a motherfucker up like Miktek Orbl, like, you are raw if you can do some shit like that. Because that guy was literally not going down at all. He's a fucking, like, Terminator type shit.
You're beating the shit out of some guy. You're giving your all to try to get this guy out of there, and the next thing you know, he's getting up and reversing you on the clinch and throwing shit. Like, guys, that takes a lot of heart. Which, spoiler alert, Robert Whitaker
does not have.
Okay, next fight, boys. Ibo Aslan versus Rafael Karia. Isn't that right? That's the next fight?
What the fuck? Nah, it was Jeff Neal.
Oh,
RDA.
okay, Jeff Neal, RDA. Sorry about that. Fucking bullshit fight. There's not too much to say about that. Jeff Neal looked like he was going to get his ass out of there either way. RDA, dude, you know, I hope you quit after this. Not on some disrespectful shit. It's just like, dude, you're too old to where your body parts are starting to fail you and shit like that. It's about time to just give it up and move on to something else. I don't want to say anything about them. I don't want to disrespect all of these guys, boys. They went in there, they fought for like a minute and a half. It was an injury again. It was bullshit.
Yeah, but Jeff Neal put up, hands of steel, put up swinging, and he was like, you could tell he was pissed off about his last fight, like with Ian Gary and how he lost that decision. He was pissed off, and he came in here and to prove a point, and I think he proved a point, even though it was a bullshit, like, RDA pulled a muscle because he's old as fuck and shouldn't be fighting. And Jeff Neal won because of that. But everything before that, Jeff Neal was fucking him up on the feet. Like, he was landing everything he was throwing. It was clear what was going to happen after that. So maybe it's a good thing that RDA pulled a muscle and didn't take as much damage and was able to, you know, get his paycheck and get out of there pretty much unscathed besides whatever injury he has in his leg. So I guess that's good, but good job, Jeff Neal, for fucking up RDA. I want to see him fight Belal Muhammad again just because I think he already beat Belal Muhammad before. I think he can do it again so we can get that belt the fuck off Belal Muhammad by whatever means necessary.
Next fight, boys, Ibo Aslan versus Rafael Karia. Anyone who says that this fight was stopped early is ridiculous. He was literally just throwing, he threw like 20 unanswered strikes or something like that up against the cage. Guys, like, Ibo Aslan might not be the best fighter and he might be on steroids, but he got the damn job done today.
Yeah, I think it's pretty obvious that he is on some other substances or whatever, because he has boobs. Like, that is, he's got gyno, boys. Like, that just doesn't, you know, randomly happen. He's off the juice and he's running shit. So, I mean, I would hate to fight him, but he got the job done. He fucked that guy up easily. And the only people who are saying it was stopped early are degen betters who had the Rafael idiot, like.
Hey, Jive.
Yeah.
All right, boys. Sharp Bullet versus Armen Petrosyan. I thought this fight was going to decision. I thought it was going to be pretty close. It's a good win for Sharp Bullet, honestly, because Armen Petrosyan's the biggest step up in comp he's fought so far. And Armen Petrosyan was catching him a little bit. But guys, like, I fuck with Sharp Bullet because of the finish he had. Like, he's always going to be throwing some random shit. A double spinning back fist. How do you make this shit up? He took Armen Petrosyan the fuck out, which is why I'm saying so much respect to Rebecky and Orbl, because they're fighting till the end like that, and Armen Petrosyan like shells up
and gets fucked up. Like,
yeah.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Only a small amount of fighters have that dog in them, like Orbl and Rebecky. But Armen Petrosyan, I thought it was going to be a lot closer than it was. Sharp Bullet got rocked in the very beginning of the fight, but after that, he pretty much controlled on the feet, and he proved he was the better striker. And he fucking fucked up Armen Petrosyan with the spinning shit. Like, it's hard to like see that shit coming from a motherfucker like that. Like, I would be afraid to fight a guy who's missing one eye, but he looks like a pirate and he's coming after you, like
throwing two double spinning back fists.
Yeah, and fucking you up. Like, I don't really blame Armen Petrosyan for that, but I'm excited to see who Sharp Bullet has next, because like I feel like you can only pick this motherfucker for so long. He's gonna lose one day, and that day is soon. I'm telling you, but like the level of opponents he's facing now suck. But when he gets to the higher level, I feel like you'll see the levels of the game that he's not at this point in his career.
Danny Ige versus Lerone Murphy. Guys, I don't really agree with a unanimous decision win for Lerone Murphy. I thought Dan Ige dropping him and putting in the work he did in the other rounds was enough. Not salty about it. I didn't have any money on the line, but I just thought that Dan Ige did exactly what I thought he was going to do. Applied pressure, didn't go away when he was, whenever he was facing opposition from Lerone Murphy. Good win from Lerone Murphy. I get it. He was just fighting someone ranked below him. But the fact he got the dub, that opens up bigger opportunities for him. But, yeah, it was a good fight, guys.
Yeah, it was a very close fight. I'm not too upset about the decision, but Lerone Murphy put up a decent fight against Dan Ige. Dan Ige coming in as the veteran, you expect him to be able to hold his ground. And he landed those powerful shots that knocked down Lerone Murphy, but
he had good scrambles as well.
Yeah, good scrambles on the ground, but the judges gave it to Lerone Murphy. I don't really know who I really care to see Lerone Murphy fight again, because not that entertaining himself, but you know what? Fuck it. It is what it is. I hope Dan Ige gets I hope he gets a good fight after this, because he was going from Diego Lopez to Lerone Murphy. Give him a layup. I want to see another Dan Ige KO. That's just fine.
Yeah, give him Brad Katona.
Yeah, fuck Brad Katona.
That's an easy knockout. Well, boys, next fight, we had Ankalaev versus Rockit. Are you kidding me with Rockit at the end of this fight raising his hand like he won the fight?
I fucking did it. I survived.
I don't think that Ankalaev should really... I don't even know that he deserves the next title shot, guy. I get it. Yes, he's winning. He's on a win streak. But going to decision... Yuri knocked him out in the second round. And Ankalaev's going to decision with him, and he thinks somehow he's going to fare better against Alex Pereira than Yuri did. He's going to get knocked the fuck out against Alex Pereira when they fight.
Ankalaev is doomed if he thinks he has a chance against Alex Pereira. He's getting his
You're knocking out Ayan Kutelaba and Johnny Walker and thinking you deserve the goddamn fight against Alex Pereira.
He's going into the shadow realm if he faces Alex Pereira. I don't give a fuck about what anybody says. After watching round 4 of Pereira versus Roundtree, the shit he pulled in that round is literally some ultra instinct and real life type shit. That was as close as a perfect round as you can get.
Yeah, he was just throwing shit, guys.
And if he can do that against Roundtree, he can do that against Ankalaev and fuck him up. I know it.
Boys, the next fight, Robert Whitaker versus Khamzat Chimaev, guys.
This is.
I swear on everything that Robert Whitaker took a dive in this fight, boys. The UFC gave him a fat check to lose to Khamzat Chimaev. Khamzat Chimaev is dislocated jaw. I don't fucking buy that. He literally had a submission locked in for less than 3 seconds, and he tapped. Boys.
And it wasn't even under the chin. It was on his chin. I don't buy the dislocated jaw, because when the fight ends, Robert Whitaker doesn't go like this. Like you would do if your fucking jaw was dislocated. He just gets up and acts like he got choked out. I don't buy that jaw dislocation shit. That was literally ridiculous.
It was so disappointing, guys. Robert Whitaker, I wanted to see him against Dricus. I wanted to see him against Sean Strickland. But guys, please give Khamzat Chimaev the Dricus, and Dricus will beat the fuck out of him.
Please, I want to see that. Khamzat Chimaev is not that raw, boys. That shit over Robert Whitaker was bullshit. He was scrambling on the ground, and then Chimaev has a lock on his fucking chin like this, and he taps so fast
immediately,
and that shit didn't even look.
It didn't even look natural, guys.
Because Whitaker's mean mugging the camera, acting all raw the entire fight week, acting like a new Whitaker, like he's all mean and shit, and tapping tapping out in the first round fast as fuck. Like, come on. It does not make any sense, bro.
That's the only thing.
I do not fuck with Robert Whitaker after this.
That's the only thing, honestly, in my opinion, it took away from this card. It would be a 10 out of 10 card if Robert Whitaker didn't take a dive in this fight. But boys, main event, Ilia Topuria versus Max Holloway. I know a lot of people were taking Max Holloway, and we tried to show him his respect beforehand. Guys, Ilia Topuria is that fucking dude. Volk coming into the cage after that. I don't want to see Volk get knocked out again.
Yeah, that was already hard enough.
Ilia Topuria just knocked out a more difficult opponent, in my opinion, since he never had been knocked out before.
Yeah, what happened? Max Holloway getting a KO win over Max Holloway is fucking incredible, since he's literally never been knocked out before. And Ilia Topuria made that shit look easy.
Was he getting pieced up? Yes. But that exchange that he got him out in, he was not facing any sort of trouble. He just started literally, he rocked him, started throwing shit, caught him, and then, like,
yeah.
Guys, Ilia Topuria versus Diego Lopez next.
That shit would be crazy.
We have got to see that fight, boys.
We do not need to see a rematch with Volk. We need to see Diego Lopez get the title shot. Because
who else does Diego Lopez have to? Diego Lopez versus Yair Rodriguez for a title elimination.
He would fuck up Yair Rodriguez easily, bro. That, oh my god, like, the only two people, I was saying this when we were watching this, the only two people in that division who I think can put up a good fight against Ilia Topuria is Diego Lopez and John Silva. Like, other than that, Ilia Topuria clears out everybody in that division.
Arnold Allen does not stand a chance,
yeah, and
boys.
Diego Lopez really only has a chance in the first round, because he likes to fight crazy in the first round, and honestly, that's on Ilia Topuria's weakness, because Ilia Topuria is really technical, and he wants to land the quality shots over quantity. When you make shit crazy on him and are in the pocket like Diego Lopez gets, and he's throwing fucking haymakers and being fast, that's the type of shit that can throw Topuria off his rhythm. So if Diego Lopez can get him in the round one, then he wins. But if he goes after that, I don't like his chances of winning the fight. He really only has a chance in the first round. And John Silva, I think he has a good chance throughout the entire fight, but I think John Silva is on the same type of shit that Matek Orbl is. Like, he's not going out. He'd rather die before he goes out in a fight. I feel like he's on the same type of shit. So I'd be excited to see that fight happen if it ends up happening.
Boys, we hope you had a good UFC 308. Thank you guys for 308 subscribers before this card. I don't find that to be a coincidence. Hope you guys had a good time watching a card. This was a, regardless of our complaints, guys, this was a fucking banger of a card. I don't know that they'll be able to outdo it in the next 2 months before the end of the year, especially not UFC Tampa. Stay tuned for that card.
Yeah, we're pissed off.
But boys, we hope you had a good UFC 308. GCMA out.
See y'all, boys.